this time, I'd like to have everybody stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we're seated, sorry, that wasn't quick enough. Before we're seated, I'd like to ask everyone to take a moment of silence to honor Officer Clayton Ellenberger, as well as Ron Bayline. Officer Ellenberger passed away suddenly on August 31st at the age of 38. He was a valuable member of our family at the 4th District, and he will be greatly missed. Mr. Bayline passed away on July 31st at the age of 85. He was the founding member of our 4th District Community Relations Committee over 50 years ago and a dedicated community partner. He will also be greatly missed. Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Good evening. I'm Ray O'Connor. I'm the 4th District Administrative Sergeant. I'd like to welcome everybody to the 4th District Awards Ceremony. I would like to call upon Cleveland Division of Police Chaplain Larry Harris to offer our invocation.
Father God, we thank you for such a day as today. Truly, it has been a beautiful day in the neighborhood. We ask now, Lord, we ask that you would come into this service. We invite you in to help us both celebrate and recognize those who have already completed a job well done. Help us to be with them, to recognize them, and to let them know that their work is not in vain. Amen.
At this time, I'd like to recognize our city officials and other special guests who have joined us for today's ceremony. Mayor Justin M. Bibb, Chief Director Carrie Howard, Director Shute Woodson, and Chief Wayne Drummond, as well as our command staff. Thank you for joining us this evening. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mayor Justin M. Bibb, who would like to say a few words.
Thank you so much. I want to just say I'm so excited to be here this evening. This is one of the best parts of my job as mayor. Recognizing our everyday heroes and sheroes who put their life on the line to keep our community safe, and those grassroots community leaders who are always doing the hard work to make our community more prosperous and more just. Also, I have to say that the 4th District is probably my favorite district. It was the district that I was born and raised in on 121st and Dove. And when I talk about the importance of community policing, this is real for me. This is not lip service. I saw it in my living room when my late grandma Sarah would get her cookies and tea and coffee and welcome former Councilman Robert White and Commander McGrath at the time in our living room, talking about how we keep our community safe. This is the work, and this is the work that we do every single day to show the city that we care about public safety, that we care about our residents, and that we are always focused on that motto: protect and serve, but with trust and equity. And as we celebrate your awards tonight, I want to leave you one of my favorite quotes by the former Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm. She says this: "Service is the rent we pay to live on earth." Service is the rent we pay to live on earth. In a world where there's so much distrust and anger and fear, if we get back to that notion, I think we'll all be a little bit better off every single day. Thank you for your service. I'm grateful for everything you do for our city. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Mayor. Please welcome Commander Brandon Kutz, who would like to say a few words.
Thank you. The mayor is a very hard person to follow up here. I'll do my best, speak from the heart a little bit. So I'm going to keep it simple, and I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to my officers from the 4th District and the other officers receiving awards here tonight. As always, you make me look good, and I really appreciate the hard work that you do, the sacrifices that you make on behalf of the city and our residents. And, I've had the good fortune of coming to a place where people do an amazing job and reaping the awards from that. So you have my thanks, you have my respect, you have my love. I appreciate everything that you do for us. Thank you. Close second on that is thank you to the amazing community members that we have in this room. Equally as impressive, I'm very fortunate to have a position where I get to spend time with you. A position that not everybody who wears this uniform gets to do. And what an amazing lesson you have taught me over the last 7 years. I'm just so impressed with the men and women that live in this district, the passion you have for your neighborhoods, the willingness you have to work through hard times, the willingness you are to work with other people different than you, from different walks of life. You're creative, you're passionate, and I'm very, very thankful to have been able to be your commander for the last 7 years, and it's been a joy for me. So to all of you, thank you as always for your partnership. Thank you for being here tonight. My other partners are from other organizations like the Cleveland Police Foundation and May Dugan and Fairhill Partners, and there's a million of you out there. So I have Community Relations Board. You all are amazing, and the things you do for us and for this community, I'm very thankful for that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Director Howard. Thank you, Director Shute Woodson, Chief, Deputy Chiefs, Commander. I appreciate all the support you give in the 4th District, the resources you've given us to do our job, the leadership you've shown. I appreciate that very much. So I made the thank you go very long. Thank you. I appreciate it. One more. I want to thank Sergeant O'Connor and my staff. They've worked very hard to put this on. They've never done it before, so it's been a long journey to get here. I know how much work they put into it, so thank you for your work. Thanks.
Thank you, Commander. Next, what I'm going to do is give you a description of all the awards and the honors we're going to be presenting tonight. The Patrol Officer Award of Excellence is awarded to one sworn member assigned to basic patrol on each platoon who has consistently gone above and beyond in their service to the community. Their dedication and loyalty to the law enforcement profession stand as an example to every member of the Cleveland Division of Police. The Special Commendation Award is awarded to division personnel who distinguish themselves by improving an administrative or tactical procedure within the Division of Police, fostering a successful community affairs program, or performing a valuable police service that demonstrates exceptional diligence or perseverance. The Citizen Award Pin is awarded to civilians who contribute significantly to the furtherance of law enforcement within the city of Cleveland. The Community Service Award is nominated and voted on by the members of the District Policing Committee for individuals to provide exemplary service to our communities. The Cleveland Police Foundation Award is awarded to an organization, a citizen, and an officer that has shown outstanding contribution to the community. Will Officer Kevin Nussbaum come forward? Officer Nussbaum will be receiving the Patrol Officer Award of Excellence.
Nixon's here.
I don't know where he is. Patrol Officer Kevin Nussbaum began his career with the Cleveland Division of Police in 2019. He was a member of the 145th Police Academy. Upon successful completion of his probationary period, Officer Nussbaum was assigned to the 4th District. Currently assigned to A Platoon, Officer Nussbaum routinely volunteers for assignments even when they are outside of his zone to ensure quick and professional service to the citizens of the 4th District. He frequently takes the initiative to help not only the community he serves but also fellow officers. As a specialized crisis intervention officer, Officer Nussbaum shows empathy and compassion when he works with the victims of violent crimes and those in crisis. His actions and dedication create a strong bond with community members. As a certified field training officer, Officer Nussbaum shows a high sense of maturity and exemplifies the values of a leader. Due to his strong commitment to the 4th District neighborhoods, he is receiving the Patrol Officer Award of Excellence for 2021. Officer Nussbaum, it is our privilege to honor you with this award. Will Officer Colbert Stadden please come forward? Officer Colbert Stadden will be receiving a Patrol Officer Award of Excellence. Patrol Officer Colbert Stadden began his career with the Cleveland Division of Police in 2014. He was a member of the 133rd Police Academy. Upon successful completion of his probationary period, Officer Stadden was assigned to the 4th District. Currently assigned to B Platoon, his knowledge of policing, community members, and crime trends extends beyond his 8 years of service. He is frequently the one that fellow officers will go to for questions and guidance. His demeanor is calm and level-headed during high-stress encounters, and he's highly respected by his supervisors. When asked to complete the task, Officer Stadden routinely replies, "Anything you need," without fail or question. As a certified field training officer, Officer Stadden is a natural-born leader. He takes the extra step to ensure his probationary officers are well-informed and prepared. As well as being a member of the emergency response team, he uses his time to attend numerous seminars and take additional training to further his knowledge of policing. Officer Stadden is the epitome of professionalism, respect, integrity, dedication, and excellence. For this, he's receiving a Patrol Officer Award of Excellence for 2021. Officer Stadden, it is our privilege to honor you with this award. Will Officer Lucas Nesbitt please come forward? Officer Nesbitt will be receiving a Patrol Officer Award of Excellence. Patrol Officer Lucas Nesbitt began his career with the Cleveland Division of Police in 2018. He was a member of the 140th Police Academy. Upon successful completion of his probationary period, Officer Nesbitt was assigned to the 4th District. Currently assigned to C Platoon, Officer Nesbitt has become a valuable asset to the community as well as to his fellow officers. Officer Nesbitt continues to be proactive while patrolling the 4th District neighborhoods. As a certified field training officer, he has quickly shown that he is a selfless leader. Officer Nesbitt provides exemplary service to the citizens he serves in our community. He remains dedicated to the Cleveland Division of Police and its many community partners. And for this, he's receiving a Patrol Officer Award of Excellence for 2021. Officer Nesbitt, it is our privilege to honor you with this award. Will Officer Jerome Chaser please come forward? He will be receiving a Special Commendation Award. On March 19, 2022, Patrol Officer Ty McFadden and Patrol Officer Jerome Chaser were searching the area of Warner Road for a known male who had been identified as a person of interest in connection with a homicide. The day prior, this male led officers on a foot pursuit in the same neighborhood, but he was able to evade officers and was still at large. While searching for the suspect, Officers McFadden and Chaser decided to confer with a local store owner to gain further information, and when they walked in the store, they were advised by the owner the suspect had just fled into the back room of the store. Concerned for the safety of all involved, Officer McFadden and Officer Chaser entered the room, gave loud verbal commands, and got the suspect to emerge with his hands above his head. The known suspect was taken into custody without incident. The initiative taken by Officers McFadden and Chaser to search for the suspect proved crucial. Officer Chaser and Officer McFadden, it's our privilege to honor you with this award. Will Detectives Christopher Miller and Christopher Musson and Sean Manzak, Officer Sean Manzak, please come forward. These officers will be receiving a Special Commendation Award. On June 5th, 2022, Detective Christopher Miller was informed by Detective Christopher Musson of a fresh aggravated robbery that took place on Miles Avenue. These detectives from two different units worked together to obtain video footage of the suspect's vehicle. The detectives used their knowledge of a similar aggravated robbery from 4 days earlier to link the same suspect vehicle to that crime, as well as identify the owner of the vehicle. Detective Miller produced a photo lineup for the victims, was able to positively identify the suspect and issue a warrant for his arrest. The following day, another aggravated robbery occurred in the same neighborhood, and Detective Miller was able to use surveillance footage to link the third robbery to the same suspect. A few days later, Patrol Officer Michael Sertz and Patrol Officer Sean Manzak responded to a radio broadcast for an armed male kicking in doors of houses looking for a female. Upon arrival, they located the male and detained him without incident. They recovered 2 firearms and were able to positively identify the male as the suspect of the 3 aggravated robberies. These officers worked with Detective Miller to find the location of the suspect's vehicle, which was process towed and taken as evidence. Detective Miller, Detective Musson, Officer Sturts, and Officer Manzak, it's our privilege to honor you with this award. Will Detectives Demetrius Madison and Timothy Hannon, as well as Officers Ashley Scott and Heather Thomas, please come forward. These officers were receiving a Special Commendation Award. On March 6, 2022, just before 8 p.m., a delivery driver was robbed at gunpoint of his vehicle by 3 young males while delivering food to a customer in the Buckeye Shaker neighborhood. The victims advised officers that his cell phone was still in his vehicle and he began tracking it through an app. Detective Demetrius Madison tracked the phone to a location in a nearby suburb. He located the vehicle and followed it undetected for approximately 15 minutes until Detective Timothy Hannon was able to respond and assist in following the vehicle to a dead-end street near a city park in the 4th District. When detectives tried to perform a felony stop, 3 suspects exited the vehicle and began running through the park. Due to Detective Madison's precise and accurate location broadcast, he had arranged for responding units to set up a perimeter around the park, effectively preventing an avenue of escape. The first male was taken into custody by Detective Madison. The other 2 males were apprehended by Detective Hannon, Patrol Officer Jeffrey Douglas, and Patrol Officer Ashley Scott, and Patrol Officer Heather Thomas, after they located the suspects hiding in the wood line. All 3 suspects were arrested without incident, and a loaded firearm was recovered by Officer Douglas. Knowing the vehicle was the victim's only means of income, Detective Madison and Hannon arranged for the vehicle to be released to the victim on scene to prevent any further hindrance to him. Detective Madison, Detective Hannon, Officer Thomas, Officer Scott, and Officer Douglas, it's our privilege to honor you with this award. Will Officers Colbert Stadden and Anthony Skolarski please come forward? These officers will be receiving the Special Commendation Award. On August 21st, 2021, there was a felonious assault shooting in front of a busy convenience store in the Union Miles neighborhood. Following review of surveillance footage, the detectives assigned posted a wanted flyer around the 4th District requesting officers help identify the suspect. Patrol Officer Anthony Skolarski and Patrol Officer Colbert Stadden reviewed the wanted flyer and took the initiative to begin doing research of individuals in the area of the shooting in between answering calls for service. Following extensive research through law enforcement databases, they were able to identify the suspect and relay the information to the assigned detective. The detective then found additional evidence linking the now identified suspect to the shooting and issued a warrant for his arrest. Following the identification of the suspect, Officer Skolarski and Officer Stadden began scouring the 4th District in search of the individual. During the search, they were able to recognize the suspect and arrest him without incident. Their high degree of investigative skills contributed significantly to the identification and apprehension of the suspect, who had shot a citizen and jeopardized the safety of others in the area. Officer Stadden and Officer Skolarski, it's our privilege to honor you with this award. Will Eustace Romaine please come forward? Mr. Romaine will be receiving the Special Commendation Award. On November 7th, 2020, officers were dispatched to a call in the Garden Valley neighborhood for a 2-year-old child who was overdosing. While working a 1-man patrol car, Patrol Officer Eustace Romaine responded to assist. These officers rushed to the apartment to find the child laying on the couch with weak and labored breathing and a purple complexion. Officers administered Narcan and attempted to wake up the child. When the child did not respond, Officer Romaine began CPR and continued for over 10 minutes until an additional zone car arrived on scene with another Narcan kit. Another dose of Narcan was administered to the child, which caused her to wake up and start crying. At this time, members of the Cleveland Fire and Cleveland EMS arrived on scene and contributed with medical attention before transporting the child to the hospital. Mr. Romaine, it's our privilege to honor you with this award. Will Detective Jeffrey Walter please come forward? Detective Walter will be receiving the Special Commendation Award. I'd like to point out to everybody that on Monday, Detective Walter was actually promoted to sergeant. He is now a sergeant. On January 15th, 2022, just after midnight, officers received a call for a male shot on East 93rd Street. Detective Jeffrey Walter, newly assigned to the detective unit, responded to the scene and was able to obtain enough crucial information to identify a suspect. After working most of the night, he obtained an arrest warrant first thing the next morning. Detective Walter worked diligently to obtain a search warrant for the suspect home and spent countless hours conducting undercover surveillance to pinpoint the best time to serve the warrant. In the company of the SWAT unit and other detectives, Detective Walter was able to serve the search warrant, place the suspect under arrest, and recover several firearms, as well as additional evidence related to the case. Due to Detective Walter's diligence, a dangerous suspect was quickly charged and arrested. Detective Walter, it's our privilege to honor you with this award. I will now turn the awards ceremony over to Commander Brandon Kutz for the next awards.
Sergeant O'Connor's a little shy about this one. Will Officers Brooklyn Barnes, David Adkins, Amir Mohammed, John Jordan, and Christopher Wilson please come forward? These officers will be receiving a Special Commendation Award. On August 20th, 2022, at approximately 2 p.m., Sergeant Ray O'Connor and Officer Brooklyn Barnes were attending an outdoor Ward 5 festival when Sergeant O'Connor was swarmed by bees and stung twice. Sergeant O'Connor immediately notified Officer Barnes that he not only had a severe allergy to bees, but also that his EpiPen was at the 4th District. Sergeant O'Connor began having trouble breathing, and Officer Barnes quickly called for EMS. He then lost consciousness and collapsed to the ground. Officer Barnes, as well as Officer John Jordan, Officer Christopher Wilson, Officer David Adkins, and Officer Amir Mohammed began rendering aid to Sergeant O'Connor. After a citizen ran to their home to retrieve an EpiPen, the officers worked together to carry Sergeant O'Connor to a nearby zone car. Officer Barnes administered the medication to him, and then all the officers rushed him to the closest hospital. Hospital staff advised that the medication, as well as the quick response by the officers, saved Sergeant O'Connor's life. Officers Barnes, Adkins, Mohammed, Jordan, and Wilson, it is our privilege to honor you with this award. Will Miss Tamika Johnson please come forward? Miss Johnson will be receiving a Citizen Award pin. On Saturday, August 20th, 2022, while participating in the Ward 5 Festival, a Cleveland police sergeant experienced a life-threatening emergency due to an allergic reaction from a bee sting that he sustained while playing football with the children at the park. The sergeant was having trouble breathing and advised his partner. While officers sought out medical attention, the sergeant fell to the ground and became unconscious. At this time, Tamika Johnson, a citizen attending the festival, ran home and retrieved her son's personal EpiPen, which was then administered to the officer. After administering the EpiPen, officers rushed the sergeant to a nearby hospital where he immediately received medical attention. The medical staff credited the actions of the officers on scene as well as Ms. Johnson's quick response with saving the sergeant's life. By rushing to help responding officers provide medical attention to the sergeant suffering a serious medical emergency, Ms. Johnson clearly assisted in saving his life. Her quick thinking and fast response demonstrated a concern for his well-being and high regard for human life. Ms. Johnson contributed significantly to the furtherance of law enforcement within the city of Cleveland, and for that she is receiving the Citizen Award pin. It is our privilege to honor you with this award. Sergeant O'Connor, it's all yours, but we got something for you too since you survived this ordeal. So, don't worry, we protected it. There's a cork in it.
I hate everybody.
Yes, all.
Okay. Will Mr. Jason Evans, Mr. Lawrence Mixon, and Mr. Daryl Childress please come forward? Mr. Evans, Mr. Mixon, and Mr. Childress will be receiving a Citizen Award pin. Please stick with me, this is a pretty incredible story you're getting ready to hear. On July 30th, 2022, in the Lee Harvard neighborhood, a landscaper was getting ready to start his day when he was robbed of his vehicle, trailer, and lawn equipment. The suspect then shot him in the leg, causing massive blood loss. A resident of the neighborhood, Mr. Jason Evans, immediately ran out of his home and began rendering first aid to the victim. Hospital staff later told the victim that the actions of Mr. Evans not only saved his leg, but possibly even his life. The suspect attempted then to steal a lawnmower that the victim had removed from his trailer, however was unsuccessful and fled the scene. Another resident of the neighborhood, Mr. Lawrence Mixon, recovered the lawnmower and locked it in his garage for safekeeping so that the crime scene detective could process it as evidence in an effort to identify the unknown suspect. After it was processed, Mr. Mixon performed routine maintenance on the lawnmower to alleviate stress to the injured victim and provide detectives with invaluable surveillance footage and photos. Officers later recovered the victim's second riding mower in a surrounding suburb and towed it to the 4th District to be processed by a crime scene detective. The victim was still unable to drive due to his injuries, and because of this could not pick up his property once it was processed. Yet another resident of the neighborhood, Daryl Childress, offered a helping hand to the victim and responded to the 4th District to retrieve the lawnmower for him and bring it back to the victims. Due to the actions of these 3 diligent and caring neighbors, the victim received life-saving medical attention, and the tools and equipment that supported his livelihood were safeguarded and processed as evidence, which ultimately led to the identification of the violent suspect. Mr. Evans, Mr. Mixon, and Mr. Childress contributed significantly to the furtherance of law enforcement within the city of Cleveland, and for this, they are receiving the Citizen Award pin. It is our privilege to honor you with this award. Will Prosecutor Mary McGrath please come forward? Prosecutor McGrath will be receiving his Citizen Award pin. On January 15th, 2022, just after midnight, officers received a call for a male shot in the neck on East 93rd Street. Detective Walter responded to the scene and was able to identify a suspect. After working most of the night, he obtained an arrest warrant. Detective Walter spent 3 countless hours conducting undercover surveillance and worked diligently to obtain a search warrant for the suspect's home. Being newly assigned to the Bureau, Detective Walter utilized the expertise of Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Mary McGrath, who immediately offered her assistance in reviewing the search warrant. Once retired, Prosecutor McGrath returned to work to continue to assist in bringing criminals to justice. She is a wealth of knowledge and an invaluable resource to the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office. Prosecutor McGrath has assisted officers and detectives with thousands of cases over the years. She works tirelessly and even answers phone calls in the middle of the night when emergency warrants are needed. Mary McGrath has contributed significantly to the furtherance of law enforcement within the city of Cleveland for over 25 years, and for that she is receiving a Citizen Award pin. It is our privilege to honor you with this award. Will the representatives from Murtis Taylor please come forward? Murtis Taylor Human Services System will be receiving a Community Service Award. Murtis Taylor Human Services System is receiving a Community Service Award for its exceptional work in the city of Cleveland. Located in the Mount Pleasant neighborhood, Murtis Taylor is an organization that provides a multitude of services to over 12,000 families throughout the greater Cleveland, with a prominent presence in the 4th District. When mandated by the state of Ohio to physically close down during the COVID-19 pandemic, Murtis Taylor continued to provide services remotely. The center continued to deliver meals to the senior population, and workers turned the building into a distribution warehouse to ensure that crucial PPE gear like masks, sanitizing supplies, blankets, and detergent continue to reach those in need, particularly those living in high-risk neighborhoods. Murtis Taylor also collaborated with Metro Health to offer COVID vaccines and booster shots. Murtis Taylor increased their assistance to families in need of food and continued to provide mental health services throughout the pandemic. The center always finds a way to serve its people, and a friend indeed is what it continues to be. For the persistence and dedication to the Mount Pleasant neighborhood and the greater Cleveland area, Murtis Taylor Human Services System is receiving a Community Service Award. It is our privilege to honor you with this award. Will Ms. Bernita Thomas please come forward? Ms. Thomas will be receiving a Community Service Award. Bernita Thomas is receiving a Community Service Award for her notable work in the 4th District neighborhoods, as well as the City of Cleveland. Bernita currently serves as co-chair of the 4th District Policing Committee and has served as a zone representative in the past. She has been greatly involved in improving the community's relationship with local police. She frequently engages the community by inviting residents to come forward to community relations meetings where they can meet with the neighborhood police. She encourages individuals to be honest and specific when voicing their concerns in an effort to solve problems and bring about positive changes in our neighborhood. Bernita has been a fixture in many neighborhood meetings and community events throughout the city and is known by many. She is a true inspiration to those that meet her. For her actions and commitment to the 4th District neighborhoods, Bernita is receiving a Community Service Award. It is our privilege to honor you with this award. Will Dr. James Quincy please come forward? Dr. James Quincy will be receiving a Community Service Award. Dr. James Quincy is receiving a Community Service Award for his exceptional work in the Ward 1 community. Dr. Quincy serves as the pastor of Lee Road Baptist Church and constantly goes the extra mile to provide a place and platform for the residents to come forward to make a better community. One of the initiatives taken by Dr. Quincy includes a breakfast club, mentoring program for the neighborhood's youth. He provides a meeting place for the Shakerly Block Club at the church, which includes residents from Glendale, Biltmore, Stockbridge, and Eldemere Avenues. Dr. Quincy has worked to connect the local block clubs with the greater Cleveland congregations. On Halloween each year, he ensures that children of the neighborhood receive a bag containing at least 100 pieces of candy. For his actions and devotion to Ward 1 neighborhood, Dr. Quincy is receiving a Community Service Award. It is our privilege to honor you with this award. I'd like to invite Bob Gutu from the Cleveland Police Foundation up to present the last awards of the evening. You got your notes? You good?
I got helpers. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce a couple of my helpers. Our Executive Director, Rick, raise your hand. And Jimmy Creation, one of our board members, play a very important part in our organization. Every year, the Cleveland Police Foundation hands out our 3 Community Service Awards at each of the 5 district award ceremonies. Number 1 goes to one or more of our officers. Number 2 goes to an individual citizen. And number 3 goes to a business or an organization. These recipients all go beyond the call while performing their duties. At this time, I'd like to call up Crystal Lewis. She really is something special. Officer Lewis has been a foundational piece of the current community outreach practice in company with the District Policing Committee. Many people are familiar with the good work she has done in the 4th District community, and she has also been an integral part of the 4th District's administrative unit for the past 6 years. For your dedication and devotion to both the community you serve and the Cleveland Division of Police, the Cleveland Police Foundation is proud and honored to present you, Officer Crystal Lewis, with our Community Service Award. Congratulations. Crystal, you got promoted, I understand, huh? Congratulations. Would Edwin Paris please come forward? Mr. Paris has been committed to the community for many years and has shown dedication to improving police and community relations. He is always there to reach out to the community members in need and provide resources when able. For your dedication to the community you serve and the Cleveland Division of Police, the Cleveland Police Foundation is honored to present you, Edward Paris, with our Community Service Award. Congratulations. Would the representatives of the May Dugan Center please come up? The May Dugan Center partnered with the 4th District Detective Bureau in 2017 to provide trauma recovery advocates to victims of violent crimes. The specialized advocates that work on this team have been providing services, counseling, and partnership with the community and the detectives to care for these victims and to ensure that they have an opportunity for recovery. The May Dugan Center has provided other needed resources to the 4th District community, including food giveaways and counseling services to officers. For its many years of taking care of people and constant dedication to so many neighborhoods, the Cleveland Police Foundation is honored to present the May Dugan Center with our Community Service Award. Congratulations. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, sir.
Now I'd like to ask that all of today's award recipients please stand. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Thank you. Now I would like to ask Division of Police Chaplain Larry Harris to lead us in our closing prayer.
Listening to all of the awards that have been given, I felt extremely safe should anything happen to me tonight. Let's give all of our recipients another great hand clap of applause. To see such a fine work by both our officers that have been sworn to duty, as well as our citizens who just rise up when needed. We take our hats off to you. We salute you this evening, and what you have done will not be forgotten. One poet said, "Courage, brother or sister. Do not stumble. Though that way seems dark as night, there is a star to guide the humble. Trust in God and do what's right. Though that way seems long and dreary and the end seems out of sight, footed bravely, strong or wearied, trust in God and do what's right." Now, when you do this, some will love thee, some will hate thee, some will just flatter, and others will slight. But cease from man and look above thee. Trust in God and do what's right. Father God, we ask for your covering tonight on each and every one of us, and the covering of us that extend to others. We ask that you would cover, keep as only you can. We ask that you will continue to raise up a spirit through our leaders and each of us that can bring back the fame known to Cleveland as the best location in the nation. We thank you, and we all say, amen.
A few more things. I know that Commander Kutz mentioned it, but I'd also like to say that I appreciate all the hard work that Officer Brooklyn Barnes, Officer Allison Long, Officer Tim Swerwinski, and several other officers that aren't here put into this ceremony tonight. Without them, this would not be happening. One final thought before we go. For every scenario that's been recounted for you this evening, there are countless others that were just as heroic and just as selfless that weren't recognized, many of which were carried out by the same men and women that we honored here tonight. The men and women you see before you are but a fraction of the dedicated and professional members of the Cleveland Division of Police that serve faithfully every day to make our great city a better place to live, work, and visit. I am truly humbled to be in the presence of so many fine men and women. I would like to thank all of you once again for taking the time to join us tonight to honor these many worthy award recipients. There are refreshments available in the lobby. This concludes the award ceremony. Thank you very much.